What is up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I'm, as always, your host, Cam Williamson. Today, we're talking about the divine masculine awakening. A lot of people are asking me about it. It's something that I've talked about a lot in the last year since the pandemic started. I started really diving into my own spiritual journey, and I told you we'd talk about it. In the last episode, I've had a lot of coffee, so if you guys hear a little shakiness in my voice, that's why. Your boy's a little caffeinated. The divine masculine awakening is something that I think is very important. I think everyone sees it, whether you're willing to accept that or not. You look, in toxic masculinity is a thing that was in the forefront of everyone's attention a couple years ago, right? And then you had the feminist movements came in and tried their hand at speaking and forming groups, and they were represented in different ways. And then after that, there was kind of a lull in both, and now you see that there's a big spiritual awakening happening. In a grand scheme, people are, I'd say, pretty quickly moving away from organized religions, definitely moving away from systems like governments and being tied into things like systemic contracts. And with that, it forces you to look at yourself, which is what I've kind of tried to do every week on this channel. Look at myself, look at the decisions I've made, good and bad, and try to move from there. Let me start, if you're new here, by quickly rolling you through my story, right? My life, I was raised by mainly women, right? I was raised by my sister. My mother was in my house. She worked a lot, but I was raised by my mother, my grandmother. I had a lot of aunts. So I was raised by mainly women. Like, when I wasn't with my mother, I was with my best friend's mother. So I was with a lot of women. And then as I got older, I dated women. So, and I prioritized the women in my life always. So I definitely identified as more of a feminine man. Now, I've never looked that way. I've never sounded that way. I don't identify in that way with the way that I act, I guess. Most people, when they see me, they think I'm a kind of a masculine dude. I got beard, and tattoos, and a low voice and shit. Most people don't see me as a feminine guy. Now, I also, in most parts of my life, had a lot of issues showing that kind of stuff, because when I did in relationships, when I would admit that I like romantic comedy movies, and when I would listen to poetry or listen to singer-songwriter type music, you know, sometimes you get these looks like, oh, what the hell is wrong with you? And I was hurt by that. So then, you know, by like my father, who is not a feminine man at all. Now, in his outward appearance, some people would say he is more feminine than I am. He cares more about his hair looking nice, his clothes being, you know, that's more of an effeminate quality, right? And that right there, we have a hard time accepting, and that veil being shed is kind of what we're talking about with the divine masculine awakening, because I was definitely more of an effeminate man with a lot of emotional feelings, and my emotions ran my life, right? And I wasn't able to hold on to a lot of structure because I didn't have that example in my life a lot. It wasn't until I joined the military and went on my own journey of finding myself that I found how important, this is going to be a key word here, the balance is of the two things. You have to understand, the divine feminine and the divine masculine are not male and female as we understand them. It's an energy, right? So when you watch a romantic comedy, there's an energy to that. There's a feeling to that, right? We all have that inside of us, whether we enjoy it, whether we choose to express it, whether we, you know, whatever, it's there. On the same token, hunting and killing your food, and, you know, watching adventure movies and enjoying things like gambling and MMA fighting, those are more masculine type qualities. Now, both men and women enjoy those things. And some women enjoy MMA fighting way more than they enjoy romantic comedies. And some dudes can enjoy a romantic comedy more than MMA fighting. And usually you'll see those two will come into a relationship with one another. That's why they say opposites attract, right? We mean that to believe a city guy will end up with a country girl and, all this crazy shit, but it's not really that at all. You're going to find your counterpart, your soul's counterpart in another. I forget what movie it was, but they were asked, what's your definition of love? And they said, love is the soul's recognition of its true counterpart in another, right? So it's finding everything you're not. Now, when we talk about things like divine feminine, divine masculine, it's used a lot in the twin flame journey. That's why I found it. A lot of problems in the twin flame journey is they will do a lot to keep you stuck in the cycle of reading tarot cards or listening to their tarot card readings and keeping you coming back for more readings and stuff like that, when really you have to realize, and you can realize all in one sit down, it's all about being within yourself. So for me, going through the military taught me a little bit about structure. It wasn't until I got out on my own, even free from the military, that triggered an identity loss in me that I had never had before. Oh my God, I'm not a soldier anymore. I've held that identity for a very long time. I've done odd jobs outside the military, so I've been a lot of things, but I was always a soldier. Now I'm not that anymore. What am I? Well, now I'm a veteran, right? And I made that look a certain way. The beard and the tattoos and the drinking, and my life fell apart because I was suppressing who I truly was, that more feminine side of me, where I was talking about my feelings, talking about the way I felt about things. And that's when I created my show, the Road to Redemption podcast, and I started to shed those layers and try to find that balance of having the structure enough to do a show every single week, but use that structure to talk about my emotional feelings and shortcomings and life lessons, so that way I can help other people. You're finding the balance within the divine feminine, divine masculine inside of yourself. The twin flame journey, as it's known, leads people to believe that you're finding that balance in another, that you're seeing your soul's recognition in another human being. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes, sure. But it will never be a situation where you are sitting hating yourself because of a relationship with somebody in your three-dimensional life. That's never going to happen, because that is not good for your self-loving and your union to your who you truly are. So, in this divine masculine awakening, you're having men. When I say men, I mean what we're all identify. If you identify as a male, then that's who the fuck I'm talking about. If you're a woman who identifies as a man, fine, no problem. Put it where it fits. Or if you're just a woman who identifies as more masculine, no problem, right? I found, that was weird, I have found in a lot of looking back on my life, I have tended to date women who were more masculine in the ways of having structure, very tight on budgets, not as emotional, pretty closed off emotionally. And that's, we sought those things in each other, but it was always a massive combustion. Because if you have two unhealed people, not even aware of why they act the way they do, and especially we're all human, so we all go from having our feminine qualities and our masculine qualities go like this, up and down throughout the day, where I know what I want here, and I'm willing to assert my standards and my values here, and I'm not going to change that. But down here, I'm willing to let you play with me. I'm a little more flexible. And we have to find that balance. You have to find it. And you'll find in men, especially those of us that were raised 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s, most of us were raised by men who cared about being more masculine outwardly and not handling the feminine shit and wounds that happened inwardly. A lot of motherly issues, stuff like that. And then it expresses itself in substance abuse, right? And if it doesn't, and substance abuse, alcohol and drugs like weed and stuff, those are feminine things. We think beer is masculine. It's not. It's a feminine thing, because when you drink alcohol, you're soothing your soul. You're trying to find nurturing. You're trying to find comfort. That's a feminine thing. So chugging your natty packs ain't masculine, homie. Sorry, dog. I hate to fuck that up for you. It's not just because I'm sober. I'm telling you, you're seeking comfort, man. And guess what? When you find out after 13 beers that you're not going to find it there, you're going to go try to find it in a lady. And then once you fuck, you're going to be like, damn, that didn't work either. And you're going to be sitting there by yourself going, oh, I must just be depressed. Well, you might be. You might be depressed, but it's because you are so far out of balance with yourself, who you are, what you value, what you think is important, and how the fuck you feel, man. It does nobody any good for you to suppress any feelings you have. Here's why. Because if you don't admit the feelings you have, you can never work through them. Right? If you keep them bottled up and you only tell them to you from the perspective of what you know at that time, you can never truly grow from them. You have to put it out. You have to talk. You have to experience, right? If you don't experience, I think that's what a lot of people struggle with when they stay in their hometown. You don't really experience the world at large. You see things from a pretty small-minded perspective of this is the way it happens around me, so that's the way it should happen everywhere, or does happen everywhere. It's not. It's not. And guess what? We're finding that as social media grows and the, mutual collective, the collective consciousness of us all grows, we're realizing, oh, these ways don't work, right? Now, right now, we're kind of in this weird overreaction. We went from women stay home, they stay, cooking, taking care of kids, and, whatever, being terribly mistreated, having no lives really of their own. Men going off working, not talking about their feelings, coming back from multiple wars, not really being engaged with the home. Now we have it more. Women are going out and they're doing their thing. There is definitely more stay-at-home dads. I'm kind of one myself. Because I'm not a stay-at-home dad, for employment reasons or money reasons. I'm that way. Again, I'm not a stay-at-home dad. My kid goes to daycare all weeks and I work doing this. But I'm the one that if anything happens, I'm home. When long weekends are there, it's me. But that's the way I choose my life to be. I've designed my life that way in finding true balance with myself. If I was still trying to play myself, I would be out 7 days a week, grinding, trying to make money, endless amounts of money, not knowing what I was trying to do with it, missing my soul's purpose for being alive. Where now I'm able to be around my feminines, my wife, my daughters. I got 2 daughters, right? So like somebody like me, I've always wondered why are all these women around me all the time? Especially when I seem to displease them a lot, right? But that's because I was displeasing, including my exes and, whoever, my mother, my sister, anytime I would displease them. And my outward emotional it's because I wasn't holding up my end of my balance, of my structure and my stability. Now, again, that doesn't mean you can't talk about your emotions. That doesn't mean you can't voice them. But inside all of us, male and female, you have to be able to talk about, recognize, and in a healthy way, discuss your feelings and get to the bottom of them and heal from any negative ones before you can ever truly know who you are. Because until you find out what's caused you to put on all these different masks and layers of identity, you have to figure out who you were before that. Before people started telling you how you should dress, before people started telling you what job to have, what marriage looks like, what your relationship with your kids should look like, what's acceptable in your job. Before all these things, that's why most people have a hard time sitting down with themselves. When you sit in total silence, you will speak to you. So many people are anxious and they're depressed because they feel this looming thing is coming. That's called death. Your death is coming at some point. This constant FOMO, fear of missing out all the time, that people are checking their phones, trying to see what's going on. Can't sit down and relax, so you're constantly moving around the house. It's because you feel the walls caving in on you called life. When you're going, there's so much to be experienced. There's so much abundance. There's so much, just greatness and love and, good shit out there. Why am I sitting here living this half-assed life of mine? Then you realize, all right, let me get to the bottom of this. What's going on? Let me cut out the drinking. All right, drinking's gone. So what am I doing now? I'm trying to figure out who I am. Who am I as a person? What do I want? What's important to me? And then I keep coming back. Well, love. Love has always been so important to me. I've watched women be mistreated in love my whole life. So, damn it, I'm going to do it right. And I dedicated to that. And I think I've done a pretty good job of that in my older years, right? Being love to every woman in my life. And again, those relationships fall out of balance when I'm out of balance. When I'm overly emotional and I'm not able to stand in my own knowledge and my own wisdom and my own power of what I've gone through in my life and overcome, and the perspectives that I have, and the real lessons, not just the shallow lessons I've learned, but the real lessons that I know deep within me. When I'm not able to stand in those and be there in that present moment with my child or whoever, while they're struggling, or while they're expressing some heavy emotion maybe, well, I'm not doing them any good, right? If I'm gaining super high emotion too, and I'm getting all up here, well, I'm throwing off whatever they're trying to do. It's all about a balance. It's all about a balance. I've learned through this process, you take all the feminine qualities of yourself, right? You find the ways that you've hurt people in your life, the damages you've caused, and you go, well, what was I really looking for there? What was I searching for in that? What wound was I trying to cover there? Okay, got it. What's the common denominator here? Abandonment issues, Then you're going to go, all right, my upbringing. And then you're going to find this spot somewhere where your upbringing didn't really matter so much, and you started taking control of your own life, but you based it so much off your upbringing, nothing really changed. You just mirrored your damn upbringing to your life, and now you're going, well, what the... Right? You didn't find balance. You tried. A lot of you are here because you're trying. And you're making those healing moments happen by being there for your children and not doing jobs that you fucking hate all the time. And you are journaling and you're doing yoga and you're meditating. My generation, y'all are crushing that shit. And you're sharing it with our parents who's now doing that too. Now, again, I'm not taking anything away from them. They do their own research and they're keeping up with the times, a lot of them. But it's our responsibility to find the balance inside of every single one of us, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. You find that within yourself, so you are the best version of yourself for every single person you encounter. So if you are dead set in your faith that you're a Christian, well, you're not breaking any values there. Just be loved to every single person you encounter, and it's all going to work out for you, right? Bang. Muslim, same thing. Twin flame, you think you have somebody out there that's so destined for you that one day you guys are going to clash and create this exuberant love? Good. Be loved to every single person that there is out there, and you will find that person, that I promise you. The universe will serve it right up to you. No problem. You can't do that when you're out of balance. Because when we're way up here in our emotional, yes, we can love hard, but we can hate hard. And when we're too over here in our masculine, we can't feel anything. Because we're so driven. We're so, gotta figure shit out. Even at our own detriment. And when we go too far in that balance, we destroy our lives with substances and things like that. Searching for that healing, that comfort that we can't seem to find. My dog's trying to get in. Can't seem to find in anything else. Find the balance. This divine masculine is happening where people are losing the toxic traits of the feminine and the masculine and thinking that you have to be or look a certain way to have balance. You don't. Everyone is unique. Everyone is of their own bundle of experiences. No one person is going to be the same. Just look at each individual as they are and almost look at them like a scale. Look at their actions, the things they say, and then you'll go, oh, where is this person in their balance? Judge them on that and nothing else. Because then you're going to find out, are they a good person? Are they stable? Are they trustworthy? Can I count on them for everything? That's what makes a good person. That's what makes someone loving and able to be properly loved. And with that, I love you guys very much. I'll check in with you guys next week. See you.